The key topic of discussion in this SuperReturn conference today is very much around the impact inflation threats, interest rate moves, but also capital market movements on the private market in general. This also coupled with the backdrop of the supply chain issue, which is impacting in large part most of the businesses that private equity investors are investing in.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of volatility in public market. Is that also a concern to the private equity sphere, or is that already perhaps even an opportunity?
With any fundamental changes, there's always opportunities and challenges. Let's talk about the challenges first. Private markets, in large part, derive their valuations based on the public market levels. Okay? And I think the move in the public markets in the last 6 weeks can be ignored. It's substantial, it's significant. This is going to have a material impact on valuations of businesses to come. But also perhaps some of the exits, which many of the private equity owners are planning. I think we already see a large number of deferred and delayed IPOs. That is a reality which we have to live with, the same way we have lived through other points in the cycle. And it's fine. It's not the end of the world. We have been in this position before, right after 2008, the 2000 crises and what have you. The beauty of private equity is it's able to adapt and adjust to changing market conditions. We shouldn't forget that although there's a lot of concerns around interest rate movements, we're talking about interest rates in the 1 to 1.5%. This is still one of the lowest interest rates environment we've ever been in. And that is still very, very attractive, very solid. Inflation is a real concern, whether that is a long-term inflationary impact or if it's a short-term, either because of the geopolitical challenges we see in the world or because some supply disruptions. But perhaps that is not a long-term inflationary pressure as we have seen a couple of decades ago.
Do you think inflation is a major concern because it is hitting consumers, or is it because it's hitting corporates via the higher energy prices?
Well, to me, the biggest concern of inflation today, it is fundamentally hitting two sectors that are relatively inelastic: energy and food. We can't do without energy the same way we can't do without food. And this is not about corporates. It is about every single, down to the most basic human being. So although historically interest rates have done a very good job tempering inflationary pressures, in an environment where your key ingredients driving inflation are products that are inelastic in the eyes and the lens of the consumer, would rising interest rate solve that problem or exacerbate it? Time will tell.
Yeah, that's a key question because, of course, if you look at what monetary policy can do about food prices and energy prices, it's not an awful lot. So you would suggest that rising rates in that environment could actually harm?
Harm is maybe a strong word, but I think policymakers would need to very carefully assess if interest rate moves, down to, are we talking about the basic individuals, the mothers and fathers at home, the young graduates and what have you. When my cost of living, food, and we're not talking about Gucci loafers, we're talking about food and energy is going up. With a higher cost of my credit card bills is the solution to me? I'm not sure.